Have you got something on the stove?
Something is cooking.
Oh, we're just in time. Take a deep breath, smell it all in. Come right ahead.
Welcome, welcome. I heard you were coming.
Oh, thank you.
Come on into my kitchen. You're more than welcome. Come on in and have a seat. It's a little hot out today. It's a bit warm, but you know what they say. If you can't stand the heat, then get out of the kitchen. Now, I love the kitchen. It's the favorite place of my house because I love to cook. You must have followed your nose to find me because this is from my cookbook. This is my sausage Hoosier receipt. And it's delightful. I'm cooking dinner for my husband James and I. And in this we have sausage. You drain off the oil, then you add some minced ham. You add cracker crumbs in there. You add potatoes, layer them down. Then you add butter and you let it melt through. And then you keep it all nice with a little bit of water. And you can add as you go to keep it nice and juicy. Doesn't it smell delicious? Oh, sir, I don't want to get my new apron dirty. I changed from my old one. Would you mind just grabbing a piece of firewood for me, please? Just a small piece. You must keep that fire a-going. Right, ladies? Oh, very good. Thank you, sir. Let's give it.
I practiced that.
That's very, very good. Well, as you may or may not know, I have a published cookbook. It was published last year. I'm very, very proud of it. It's called Mrs. Collins' Table Receipts, adapted to Western Housewifery. And I have a quote from Shakespeare, "If I bring thee not something to eat, I'll give thee leave to die." It is published by my neighbor who lives down the street, John Nunemaker, at the City Bookstore, number 2 Main Street, New Albany, Indiana, 1851, and I'm oh so proud of it. It is very helpful to have a neighbor who owns a bookstore and is a publisher. Now, this book has 144 pages in it, and the chapters are thus: soups and broths, fish, boiling, broiling, braising, roasting, toasting, pickling, vegetables, bread, preserves, puddings, pies, cakes, fancy dishes, and beverages. Oh, am I making you hungry? As I said, my husband James, loves this receipt, sausage Hoosier fashion, just about as much as I love him. You may know my husband James. You may know him as the editor of our family newspaper. No? Then perhaps he was your lawyer. Well, how about if you know him as city councilman or your state legislator? Well, right now he is serving as your state agent. That is how he is currently employed. But you may ask, well, how did James and I meet? And my answer to that would be divine providence. God has his hand in everything. You see, our good Lord placed us both in the home of a Reverend Overstreet, and that was in Louisville, Kentucky. Well, how did my husband get there? You see, his mother was Mary Overstreet before she was a Mrs. Collins, and they were there visiting. Well, how did I get there? That is a long story indeed. I was in boarding school in Lexington, Kentucky, and my brother Alfred came to pick me up. He came on horseback, and I had finished my school, and we got to Louisville, but there was a drought that year. So we could not cross the river. We could not get a boat. Well, what were we going to do? We were stuck in Louisville. Being devout Methodists, we decided, let's attend a Methodist church and see if we can find someone to help us. So there was the Reverend Overstreet, a marvelous, marvelous preacher. And after the sermon was over and everybody went home, there we were. But you know, it says in the Bible, ask and you shall receive. Knock and the door shall be opened unto you. So we thought, what if we go knock on his door? We asked some people, where does he live? where does the Reverend Overstreet live? And they showed us. It was a mansion, a huge house. Right up to that door, and we knocked. And hallelujah, the door was open unto us. We stayed with them, and that's where I got to know my future husband, James. Now, after that, we stayed in contact by correspondence. And he came to where I was working in Wilmington, Ohio. Why was I in Wilmington, Ohio? Well, I was supposed to be teaching at my mother's school that she opened in Xenia, Ohio. But from there, and my brother Alfred taught there as well, but from there, I also went and worked in Wilmington, Ohio, because I taught at an Indian school. We kept in contact, James and I, through correspondence over the many years. And when I was 25 and he was 22, he came to Wilmington. He got down on his knees and asked for my hand in marriage. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I call that romantic divine providence. After that, we decided to move to Paoli, Indiana. And there he practiced law, and I taught school. And then later on, 6 years later, we decided to move to New Albany, Indiana, because he had two brothers here. One was a lawyer already, and the other started the Daily Gazette newspaper. And here in beautiful New Albany, Indiana, we had 9 beautiful children. 4 died in infancy, and with Walter, he died of cholera, and then little Lorraine as well died at 5 years old. But we still have 3 flourishing children. They're alive and well and wonderful. You know, there's probably not one person here who is a stranger to loss. The Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away. But blessed be the name of the Lord. You see, I lost 2 brothers also. I lost John and Edwin. It was a duel in New Orleans. You see, John was a portrait artist, and he was working down there, and Edwin was the editor of a newspaper, and he wrote something that some man did not like. That man challenged Edwin to a duel. Edwin accepted. When the gun fired, John stepped in front of Edwin and took the bullet. You see, the Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away. But blessed be the name of the Lord. Why, look at what all I am blessed with. This beautiful home on 917 Main Street. My wonderful husband, James. My cast iron stove. Aprons galore. And of course, my published cookbook. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I do urge you to buy it. It's only 50 cents. And if you do buy it and you like it, I will be fully compensated for all my leisure hours of my favorite hobby, which is cooking. And ladies and gentlemen, we need to take advantage of the bounty we have, the game, the fruits, the vegetables. Oh, I do believe that it is finished. James! Oh, James, dinner is served! So, ladies and gentlemen, the next time you come, give me more advanced warning, and I will make a bountiful feast for us all. Thank you for stopping by, and God bless.
Thank you, Mrs. Mary.
Try to stay warm.
Could you perhaps favor us with the recipe? Do we have copies?
I do believe so.
Recommend those. Look for those at the end of the tour.
Down by the bookstore. Down by the bookstore.
Wonderful. Now, you may notice we have a rather large Oddfellows chain here. So we have all sorts of things. And you're right at the Scribner corner on the way. The little obelisk, that's General Benjamin Franklin Scribner, Civil War hero from New Albany. And just past that, the tall flat stone, those are all the founding brothers, including Abner, the father of Benjamin, and the stepfather to the DeVolds. His wife had children before that. Charlotte DeVole. We'll talk about the DeVole statues and monuments as well.
Take care now.
Good evening.
Good evening.